Jade. So today I'm going to touch on what some small business owners should know regarding sales tax. So this can be pretty confusing and sometimes annoying, and it has become more complicated as online sales have skyrocketed over the past few years. So, what do you need to collect? What sales tax are you required to? Does this apply to you? And I'm sorry to say it varies state by state, and we're going to have to figure it out together essentially. But, if it's too complicated to deal with, that's when you bring in a CPA or an attorney to try to help you and guide you through that. And so generally sales tax, this is triggered when someone makes a retail purchase of a tangible product or a taxable good. So this is something that's seen, weighed, measured, felt, or touched. This varies widely from state to state. Generally, services are exempt, generally. And, so when this is online, you've got customers from different states, this can get tricky. The first thing to think about is whether you have a nexus in order to establish your requirement to collect sales tax. So this is whether your business has a presence in that state. And this, a lot of times where your business is, where you reside, you obviously have a nexus there. And if you have more than one physical location, obviously other locations are a part of that nexus. If you have employees that work in other states, even contractors, that can establish a nexus. Warehouses, distribution places, those all count too. And also just thinking about how many sales you're making online in a certain state can establish a nexus. So that's kind of where we start. There's been a lot of confusion about this. There was a Supreme Court case in 2018 that, did determine that online sales are subject to sales tax, but it left it to the states to determine how they're going to come up with their own rates and rules. So generally, $100,000 in sales or 200 transactions in a state establishes a nexus. Again, states differ, but this seems to be the trend, seems to be where we're at. So if you have a nexus, you need to be collecting sales tax. First thing to start looking into, do you need a sales tax permit? Again, this is state by state basis. You would want to start with your state's revenue department to find out if you need that. You need to find out the sales tax rate. Again, state revenue agency will have that information available. And again, it's state by state. Also, you'll need to be making sure that you're documenting the taxes you're collecting, keeping records of your invoices and reporting these as required on a state by state basis. And then you have to actually pay this sales tax, right? And sometimes this, again, state by state, it can either be quarterly, it can be monthly, depending on how much volume you're having online as a business. And you've got to, remit this sales tax return to the state. This can be pretty straightforward, or sometimes there's more breakdowns, again, required state by state. So I'm sorry, overall, one good way to start is that you get a point of sale software for your online business. This will do the heavy lifting for you, or use a business tax service. But the first point of information should be your state's revenue department. And that's all states and different states that you might be establishing a nexus in. And then obviously as well, getting an attorney and a CPA in your corner to make sure that you're checking all those boxes and doing what you're supposed to be doing. Because again, this is unfortunately quite a confusing area right now when it comes to online sales, but we're hoping it will clear up and become a lot more simpler in the future. As always, feel free to reach out with any questions, and I'll see you next time.